Hello and welcome to another part of this chapter, transportation problem. We have already discussed about transportation problem, and we have discussed about three different methods to find initial basic feasible solution of a balanced transportation problem. These methods are northwest corner rule, row minima method and matrix minima method. Now in this part we shall discuss about one more method to find the initial basic feasible solution of a balanced transportation problem. This method is known as Vogel's approximation method. In short, we call it VAM. We have considered the same problem so that we can compare the result obtained by these different methods. So to find the initial basic feasible solution of this transportation problem by using Vogel's approximation method, we first check that this problem is a balanced transportation problem because sum of the capacity is equal to sum of the demands. So there are 4 origins and 4 destinations. These are the capacities, these are the demands, and these are the corresponding cost values. So we shall find initial basic feasible solution by using VAM. So let us start the solution. So this is the given cost matrix. From here, to find the initial basic feasible solution, we have to find the minimum value, that means the minimum cost and the next minimum cost for each row and each column, and then we shall find the difference between the minimum cost and the next minimum cost of the corresponding row and column. So if we consider the first row, then we find that the minimum cost is 2 and we find the next minimum cost which is 4. So the minimum cost is 2 and the next minimum is 4. Now we shall find the difference between these two. We find that the difference is 2. So we shall write this difference within a bracket beside the capacity. So we shall write here this 2. Next we shall consider the second row, and similarly from the second row we shall find the minimum cost and the next minimum cost. So here we find that the minimum cost is 1 and the next minimum cost is 4, and we shall write the difference, that is 4 minus 1 3. So we shall write this difference within a bracket beside the capacity. Next we consider the third row, and from the third row we shall find the minimum cost and the next minimum cost. We find that the difference is 1, so we shall write this difference within a bracket beside this capacity. And if we consider the final row, then we find that the minimum cost is 4 and the next minimum cost is 6. So we shall write this difference, that is 6 minus 4, that is 2, within a bracket beside the capacity. So we have obtained the difference between the minimum cost and the next minimum cost for each row. Now we shall do the same for the each column. So if we consider the first column, then we find that the minimum cost is 4, and what is the next minimum cost? This is also 4. This is not the next minimum cost because there are actually 2 minimum costs. You must remember that if we find that there are 2 same values, actually if there are 2 minimum values, then one of them will be treated as minimum value and other one will be treated as the next minimum value. So the minimum cost is 4 and the next minimum cost is 4. So the difference will be 4 minus 4, which is 0. Now we consider the next column and we find that the minimum cost is 2 and the next minimum cost is 4 and the difference is 2. So we shall write this difference within a bracket beside the demand. And from the third column we find that the minimum cost is 1, the next minimum cost is 3, so the difference is 2 and we write this difference within a bracket. Finally we consider the final column. We find that the minimum cost is 1, the next minimum cost is 2, the difference is 1, so we write this difference within a bracket beside the demand. So we have found all the differences between the minimum cost and next minimum cost for each row and column. Now from these differences we shall find the maximum difference and we shall find the corresponding row or column for which this maximum difference occurs, and the first allocation will be made on this row or column. So if we look carefully, we shall find that the maximum difference is this 3. So the first allocation will be made on the second row. So we have obtained that the first allocation will be made on the second row. So to find the cell where the first allocation will be made, we have to find the minimum cost among the cost values in the second row. And here we find that the minimum cost is 1. So the first allocation will be made in this cell. So if we want to find the value of this basic variable, then we have to check the corresponding capacity and demand, and we find that the capacity is 10 and demand is also 10. So we can allocate 10 here. If we allocate 10 here, then we find that the revised capacity of this origin is 0 now, and the revised demand of this destination is also 0 now. So the capacity of the origin O2 is exhausted and the demand of the destination D3 is also met. So we can cross off either all the remaining cells of this row, or we can cross off all the remaining cells of this column. But we can cross off all the remaining cells from this row and column simultaneously if we can allocate one basic value, that is 0, in the cell corresponding to the next minimum cost from this row and column. So if we check this row and column, then we find that the next minimum cost is 3. So we can allocate a basic variable 0 here only to maintain the number of basic variables. So if we can allocate one basic value 0 here, then we can simultaneously cross up all the remaining cells of this row and column. So we have crossed up all the remaining cells of the row and column simultaneously by inserting one basic variable 0. Remember that this basic variable 0 is inserted only to maintain the number of basic variables. In this case, we have the number of basic variables will be 4 plus 4 minus 1, that is 7. Now we write the revised capacities and the demands of the origins and destinations. So the revised capacities are 6. Now this capacity is exhausted, so we shall not write here. This capacity is 12, 14, 9, 16 and 7. Now again we shall find the minimum cost and the next minimum cost from each row and each column, and we shall write this difference within a bracket beside the capacity and demand. So if we consider the first row, then we find that the minimum cost is 2. Remember that this cost will not be considered again. So the minimum cost is 2 and the next minimum cost is 4. So the difference is 2. We write the difference within a bracket. Now no need to consider the second row again. Now consider the third row. Here we find that the minimum cost is 1. The next minimum cost is 2. So the difference is 1. We write the difference within a bracket. Consider the fourth row. The minimum cost is 4. The next minimum cost is 6. So the difference is 2. We write the difference within a bracket. We consider the first column. So we write the difference, that is 0, within a bracket. Consider the second column. The minimum cost is 2. The next minimum cost is 6. We shall not consider this 4 again. The minimum cost is 2. The next minimum cost is 6. So the difference is 4. And we shall write the difference within a bracket. And we consider the final column. The minimum cost is 1. The next minimum cost is 2. So the difference is 1. And we write the difference within a bracket. Now we find the maximum difference among these differences. And we can simply find that the maximum difference is 4. So the next allocation will be made on a cell of this column. For that we have to find the minimum cost among these cells of this column, and here we find that the minimum cost is 2 corresponding to this cell. So the next allocation will be made in this cell. To find the value of this basic variable, we have to check the corresponding capacity and demand, out of which 12 is minimum. So we can allocate maximum 12 here. If we allocate 12 here, then the revised capacity of the origin O3 is 0 now, and the revised demand of the destination D2 is 16 minus 12, which is 4 now. So the capacity of the origin O3 is exhausted. So we can simply cross off all the remaining cells of this row. So we can cross off this cell, and also we can cross off this cell. Now we find the revised capacities and demands. So these are 9, 4, it is 7, it will be 6, it is 0, 0, and this is 14. So we shall again find the minimum cost and the next minimum cost from each row and each column, and we shall write the difference within the bracket. So from the first row we find that minimum cost is 2, next minimum is 4, so difference is 2, we write here. From this row, fourth row, minimum 1 is 4, next minimum 6, difference is 2. From the first column we find that the minimum cost is 4, next minimum is 4, so difference is 0. From the second column we find that minimum cost is 6, next minimum cost is 6, so the difference is 0. And from the final column we find that the minimum cost is 2, next minimum cost is 8, so the difference is 6. So if we consider the differences, then we find that the maximum difference is 6 corresponding to this column. So the next allocation will be made either in this cell or in this cell. For that we have to check the minimum cost value among the cells of this column. We find that the minimum cost value is 2. So the next allocation will be made in this cell. To find the value of this basic variable, we have to check the corresponding capacity and demand. We find that the capacity is 6 and demand is 7, out of which 6 is minimum, so we can allocate 6 here. So if we allocate 6 here, then the revised capacity of this origin O1 is 0, and the revised demand of this destination D4 is 1 now. So the capacity of the origin O1 is exhausted now, so we can simply cross off the remaining cells of the first row. Now if we cross off all the remaining cells from the first row, then we find that only the 3 cells are remaining. If we write the revised demands, these are 9, 4 and 1, and the revised capacity is 14. So we can simply allocate 9 here, we can allocate 4 here, and we can allocate 1 here, so that the revised capacity of the origin O4 is exhausted now, and the revised demands of the destinations are also 0. So now we have obtained one initial basic feasible solution. So here the number of basic variables are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let us write the solution here. If we write the solution here, we find x14 equal to 6, x23 equal to 10, x32 equal to 12, x33 equal to 0, x41 9, x42 4 and x44 1. Now if we want to find the corresponding minimum cost, then this can be found by multiplying the values of these basic variables with the corresponding cost. So the minimum cost will be 6 into 2 plus 10 into 1 plus 12 into 2 plus 0 into 3 plus 9 into 4 plus 4 into 6 plus 1 into 8. The minimum cost is 114 at these values. So this is the required initial basic feasible solution. Remember again, this may not be the final optimal solution. This is only the initial basic feasible solution. In the next part, we shall learn how to find the final optimal solution. Now we shall compare the initial basic feasible solution obtained by different methods. If we want to compare between the cost values obtained by these different methods, then we find that the minimum cost obtained by the method northwest corner rule is 202, by using row minimum method is 111, by using matrix minimum method is 129, and by using Vogel's approximation method is 114. So here we find that the result obtained by row minimum method is the best one, which is 111, and these three values are very close to each other, but the result obtained by northwest corner rule is much higher than these three values. So whenever we find the final optimal solution, we must not apply northwest corner rule, because this will take more times to find the final optimal solution. We can use any one of these three methods, but practically you should use Vogel's approximation method, because in more than 90% of times this will give the best result. In this case, although we have found that this row minimum method gives the best result, but practically for more than 90% of times this Vogel's approximation method will give the best result. So remember that whenever we shall find the final optimal solution of a balanced transportation problem, we shall use Vogel's approximation method to find initial basic feasible solution, and after that we shall find the optimal solution. In the next part we shall learn how to find the final optimal solution of a balanced transportation problem. So see you in the next part. Until then, thanks for watching.